Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to quickly see how we can generate data using ChatGPT. So why would you want to do this? Well, one reason would be you have a program and you want to generate some data samples so you can make sure that the program is running as expected. Another reason is that maybe you're trying to give a lecture or do some sort of lesson and you want some data samples to use for the purposes of that. A lot of different reasons you might want data, and let's see how we can use ChatGPT to help us create it. So we're going to want to go to chat.openai.com/chat. And once there, you can kind of just start typing in whatever type of data that you want. Let's say I just wanted a single table with like a text column with random sentences. So I might say generate, and maybe we wanted even a CSV file with a text column and several random English sentences as the rows. Please give me 15 samples or something like that. Okay, so I can't create a CSV file, but it can create these sentences. That's great. That's a great start. But really, these sentences might not be the easiest to like get into the format that we want. So I might say, can you format that as a table with the column name text above the samples? So I'm slowly getting to what I want. Okay, great. So we now have this text and it's nicely formatted as a table. That's pretty cool. And what we can do is, though it can't create a CSV, we can very easily copy all of this content, Control C. Maybe you open up Excel or use Google Sheets, and we can go ahead and paste all of that in. If we look at our table now, I'll expand this. Doesn't really matter how it's formatted because when we make it a CSV, that will not matter at all. So I would just save as, wherever is fine. Not an Excel workbook. I want a CSV, test data, CSV. So now we can use that how we want. Okay, what else would we maybe want to do with this? So, this is a pretty standard, these are just sentences, but we can start doing more interesting things. So let's say I wanted to have some of these text columns have emails in them and some of these have phone numbers. So generate similar text samples, but have some of the rows contain emails, or like you might want to say sample emails because otherwise it might be like thinking you actually want people's emails. And some of the rows contain sample phone numbers. Cool. And so what we could do with this now, and you can play around with the language here, but like, let's say I wanted to have my students write a test program to take a CSV that contained this information and filter out all the roles that didn't have a phone number or an email. Now I have a little data sample to do that. So that's great. Other things you can do is, let's say, generate 10 text samples in a table, some containing the word cat, such as I like cats and dogs, and some of the text samples should contain cat as part of a bigger word, such as his marbles scattered everywhere. And so why would I want to do this? Well, let's say I wanted to create another test case, or I wanted to create another lesson, and I wanted people to be able to filter out specifically the word cat or cats, but not capture scattered or catch or anything like that. Well, now I am generating, novel ways to do this. And it's pretty nice. It's so much easier than typing out these examples and having to think about it. You can be super creative with this. The world is your oyster as far as this goes. Cool. So that's one sample. Let's go through one more exercise because you don't always want a table. You don't always want a CSV or something and loading that in with pandas. So let's do a new sample. And in this case, let's say you wanted specifically to create a unit test, and maybe it was in the Python programming language. This could be Java. This could be JavaScript. Any language should really work in this. So I'm going to say create a Python array with 3 columns, first name, last name, and test score, and give me 20 sample rows in this array. So let's see what this does. And what's pretty cool here is we're actually seeing what this might be in Python, like what Python code to like create this array might look like. Okay, so this is pretty good. But what if we wanted to take this and expand on it, create it, make it more interesting? One thing we could do is give me that same sample array, but make test scores have a standard or a mean of 85 and a standard deviation of 5. So now we can get more creative with what actually is in our array. And you could execute this Python code to actually get the output. You could also tell it to just give you the sample output. I'll fast forward this. Cool. So a couple things we might want to do here is what is Python code that could be modified to generate this array with different first names and last names and would allow me to generate as many samples as I need. So I can just keep getting, honing in on what I'm specifically looking for. So as you see, it's generating these names. We could add whatever first names we wanted to. So maybe you wanted to use all the students in your class, something like that. You could modify this code as needed. It's generating a lot of them. Same thing with last names. Awesome. So now we have code we could use. You could even type in here into ChatGPT, give me a sample of 100 data points. But what might be interesting is to take this code, copy it, and then open up a Jupyter Notebook or any Python, interface. Paste that code in and see what happens when you run it. And if we look at data, look at that. Pretty dang sweet. And you could copy this array and really do whatever you wanted with it. So make test cases, use it in a lecture, etc. So hopefully this gives you some ideas. You can really take this and run with it and do all sorts of cool things, but this is how I use it. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. If you did enjoy this video, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to not miss anything in the future. And if you want to support the channel, subscribing is probably the best way, but also left some links of other ways to do that in the description. Let me know in the comments if there's a certain topic I should make future videos on. I'm always looking for new ideas. Until next time, everyone, peace out.